Good afternoon. Good morning. Good evening. Big storm, massive storm here in Singapore. Hope you guys are all right. Hey David, hey Bjorn, how you doing? Just trying to get some stuff sorted. Okay. Yeah, massive thunder, lightning here in Singapore. Skies are dark. It's 3 p.m. here and it looks like it's 6 o'clock outside right now. So massive storms. How's everyone doing? Hope you're all right. Hope you're all good. It is Friday, the end of the week. If you are on the session, do drop a message. Say hi. Let me know that you're here. You give it a minute or two before we get started. Hey Owen, how you doing? Hey Jack, good to see you again. Just want to make sure that everything's working. Oops, okay. Hey Hiker's Diary, hope you're well. No worries, I'm happy to say Irving's Prize. Sounds good. Hey Spiros. Hey Pips Apprentice, good to see you all. Hope you're well. Getting ready for the last session of the week. We're heading towards the end of the year. Hope you guys have a lot planned for Christmas. The Christmas coming up. Hey Christina, good morning, how are you doing? I'm doing very well. Been a bit of a busy day. Don't know where the time went, but been a bit of a busy day. All right, let's get started. Again, thank you all for joining me on this daily market analysis. Good to see you all. Well, good to see your nicknames. Hopefully we might do a Zoom session, especially for everyone on Discord. We'll do a Zoom session where I can catch up with everyone, get to know the faces and the names as well. So if you haven't already, do make sure you join the Discord channel. The link is there for you guys. It is absolutely free to join, so I look forward to seeing you all there. If you are new to the session, do drop a message, say hi, let me know where you're joining us from. And for all the regulars, I appreciate all of you so much for taking time out in your day to join me on this 1 hour session on the daily market analysis. Okay, if you can help me out as well, do make sure you click that like and subscribe button on YouTube and that little rocket ship button on TradingView as well. If you have any questions at any point in time, please feel free to put it into the chat and let me know. With that, a quick risk disclaimer: any information contained on this webinar should not be construed as advice and is presented as educational material only. So please remember that the contents of this webinar is not intended to be a recommendation to trade a financial product, as your objectives, financial situation and needs has not been considered, and you should consider its appropriateness to your circumstances. With that said, let's move on. Not a lot to update you guys on actually today. So, you know, I was just looking at that, not a lot until 4 minutes ago when this was just released, right? The UK retail sales number was just released at 3 p.m. so it's 3:04 right now. It was minus 0.9, got revised down to minus 1.1. Expected at 0.5, came out at minus 0.3. So massive upset here on the pound retail, on the UK retail sales number, and that's why we saw the pound, or we're seeing the pound dollar spike strongly to the downside. Showing it to you here on the charts. You see the pound dollar still tracking or rejecting that resistance level and tracking lower right now. Okay, it's gone from 1.2411 down to 1.238 7, 8, 8, 9. So a small move to the downside, not massive, but we're seeing that reaction to the downside on the pound dollar because of that retail sales number that we saw just released now 5 minutes ago. Hey Desiree, how you doing? Good morning, Goju. With that, so that was just the news that was released. What happened last night since we spoke? Nothing much. Hang on. Nothing much happened last night. Unemployment claims for the US, a little bit more surprising than expected. 218K was the previous, revised slightly upside from 217. No, my nose is driving me nuts today. Then it's forecasted 221, came out at 231K. So a little bit higher than expected in terms of the unemployment claims, and that's why we saw the dollar index. I'll zoom in a little bit here. That's why we saw the dollar index at that 9 o'clock period right there. Push to the downside, right? Push to the downside, rejecting that resistance level. If I did 23, no. So rejecting that resistance level at 38.2. So it was holding 104.60, 104.60 being just right about there. So it's 104.60 held, did not see that push up, it retraced back down to 104, and then now push back up again. So that move down, that spike down was because of that news, but I'm still a little bit surprised that it was such a big move for a weekly number. I think it's also a combination of one, the news, and two, the reaction at the technical level of that resistance level. Okay, so that's what happened overnight since the last time we spoke all the way through to now. At 6 p.m. we do have the Eurozone with their CPI number looking like it's staying the same at 4.2 on the core CPI, final core CPI, and the final CPI. Oh, can you guys hear that? Can you guys hear the thunder crackling away? And the final CPI at 2.9%. Okay, not much else to be worried about for today all the way. And because today is Friday, we'll look at what could happen next week. On Monday, it looks like it's going to be a little bit quiet. Tuesday, we do have early in the morning, Governor Bailey from the BOE, not going to do much. Governor Bullock speaking at ASIC Forum. We look at the monetary policy meeting minutes at 8:30. We do have Canadian CPI next week. There's something to look forward to. FOMC meeting minutes on Wednesday next week. And then PMI numbers through Thursday and Friday. Okay, so it looks like it's going to be relatively straightforward. Should be relatively straightforward next week with a number of news events that could drive prices a little bit, but it looks like we could see some movements, right? Especially with the way everything is sitting there or setting up and holding for now. Serene thought it was a thunder from her side. It is really a storm. I'm glad to be indoors right now. Crazy wind and thunder, yeah. And I'm not in a shack as well, so it's not like I'm out in the elements and yet it's so loud. That's ridiculous. Yeah, Serene's in Singapore, so she knows what I'm talking about. Probably, one rain cloud covers the whole of Singapore probably, so we're all experiencing the same weather. So back to this so you hear the crackling and all that, just bear with it. Back to this on Friday, today being Friday, we don't seem to have that much to consider, but it does look like we might see what we talked about yesterday happening today. Okay, so that's what I'm looking out for. So now looking at the charts, today being the 17th of November, very close to Christmas. Anyone sending me Christmas presents? I'll readily accept. It came down, tested that support, bounced back up, so we can take that away. Right now the dollar is still sitting at 104 just below 104.50. Looking for it to, let's take all that away for now. That trend line doesn't work anymore, and that, no reason to have that trend line there, so we take that away. Okay, then we have this point here. So we just want to make sure that our points are relevant, right? If I took this as the maximum move, we might see it being held along that 23.6 level. All right, but I was just thinking of, how am I moving the whole thing? If I'm just thinking of that, then we have 38.2 right there. So this view is relatively the same because we don't have major US news to be released today, right? We don't have major US news to be released today. Even building permits, I used to pay a lot of attention to it, but not so much now. That's not changing that much. So I'm looking at this, yeah, Spiros with the patterns. Yes, it does. I wouldn't say that, I don't know, I wouldn't say that this is a triple bottom. I kind of want a bit more space to it on the triple bottom, but it has tested this 3 times and failed to break lower. And if you remember, I think yesterday or the day before, I was telling you guys that typically when you see a week, right, earlier in the week when there was a big move, what we do tend to see towards the end of the week is a deeper retracement, especially towards the end of the week, the close off positions, we see that spike a little bit more to the upside, right? So take that away. I am actually thinking the same thing. 23.6 is done. It does need to break above 38.2, which is the 104.60 level, to climb towards that 104.90. But I would like to look for 105, which is this level, but I want to consider that 61.8 there. Okay, so let's take that one away. That's what I'm thinking. My thought process right now is whether it's going to go past 61.8, whether it's going to go past this 105 level. I don't see a big reason why it should. And this being a bit of a swing low level and that 61.8 level there, that would be reasonable to expect it to hit. But okay, so why I'm hesitating, okay, why I'm hesitating is because it looks like it doesn't look like a lot of space, right? A move back up above 38.2 to this point is only going from 104.60 to 105. There's only about a 40 pip move on the dollar index to the upside. I'm just thinking that it might go a little bit higher than that. That's my consideration at this point. Even that, it's just looking at this, that's just at 50% there. It doesn't look like it's going to do too much. 105.20. I feel like it could come up to about that range. So it looks like if it breaks above 38.2, which is not a given, right? It's not a given that it would do that. It could get up to 61.8, which is 105, but I think that it might even get to about 105.15. That point. I think it'll do that. Right? And then from there, it might end the week like that, and then by Monday next week, we might see it come back down or continue to push back up. But that's what I'll be looking out for today, which would be same thing. It does need to break above 104.60 first, which is that 38.2 level. Right, and then it could continue retrace higher to retrace higher to 104.105, 105 to 105.20, and I'll say that. Okay. With the potential for more upside. I feel that if it does push up above this point, and I deleted that, but like I was saying yesterday, if it breaks above 105, we might see a resumption of that upward push. If you look at this on the H4 time frame, you see that once it goes past this point, we see good upside potential. Tested a few times here before a big push up as well. So I'm quite happy with this view. Just thinking a bit more, hang on a second. Breaks past this point, could push up. Yes, okay, I'm happy with that. So looking at that strength, what I think could happen here is a break, and then a retrace, and then a break, and then that way. Okay? So generally looking at dollar strength to come back into play today. With that, then looking at the charts on the Kiwi dollar, that's happening. I didn't get into this trade because it only got to trigger our level at 4 a.m. GMT plus 8. That's not a waking hour for me. So that broke down, now halfway down. Anyone gone to the Kiwi dollar, let me know. It's coming close, and it's probably at that 50 or broken past 50. So it's coming close to that 61.8 level. Okay, so at this point, take that away. I don't need this. That's an interesting level to have, but I don't need that. What I want to see, because we are anticipating dollar strength to continue, so what I want to see here is for that to break below 61.8, below 5920, take profit about 50 pips down to that support. Stop loss 20 pips would be reasonable. Continuation of the trend to the downside. If we look at this as a guide, that's okay. We can be looking at that. So what needs to happen is it just needs to break below 5930, give it a bit more space, 5920, 20 to 50. Let's do that. So Kiwi 5920, stop loss 20, take profit 50, We said there was a hesitation at 61.8. We're approaching that hesitation, so it just needs to break this level to head lower. Okay. Good morning, Ismet. How are you doing? That's relatively straightforward. Then now looking at the Aussie, same thing, it's on the way. That head and shoulder, I would take that away because it's not valid anymore. It broke down and then bounced right back up, so the pattern is off unless you consider that as a shoulder, but I think that is a bit dragging it out too much. This would still hold, right? 38.2 level is still a level that we are considering or we are looking at, and I wouldn't say that it's broken confidently yet. We have another 40 minutes for this candle to close at this point. Okay, so if we look at this, Zachary says, I consider it a retest of the neckline and traded off it. Yes, that's very good. If you were watching it at that time, and it tested and came back down, you could. We were looking for it to break below 38.2 before selling. So this was the whole of yesterday, all the way through midnight before I tried to break and then bounce back up and set right there. So I wasn't going to rush into that. Now at this level here, 6459, I would take that one away for now. We're done with that. 50% would be, that's done. 50% would be there. Does need to close lower, so I'm just thinking that 6450, I like the large gap to downside. Yeah, I'm just looking at the dollar index, just thinking whether it's really going to break to the upside, right? If it tests and comes back down, then we're not going to see much movements. And it's a bit odd that, looking at the dollar index, we see that trying to push up within this hour, but yet the Aussie dollar is retracing a little bit right now. I think the safer option would be to look to sell down on 6450, stop loss 25, take profit. I will go down to 60, just along that trend line, understanding that there might be a bit of a hesitation at 6420. Yes, that's what I'll do. Jamil doing very well. Jamil doing very well on the pound dollar. Well done. Good job. 62 pips on the pound. Fantastic. 6450, 25 to 60. Let's do that one first. 64. Good job, Jamil. 6450, 25 to 60. Right, and hesitation at 61.8, which is going to be the 0.6420 level. 6420, okay? So that's what I'll be looking out for. Basically, look for it to break below 6450. You would have a 1:1 to the downside, a bit more than 1:1 to the downside. But if it can break past this support, then we could see a 60 pip move on the pound dollar heading lower. It is not ready yet. It's not ready yet. I need to see, need to see the dollar index break above that resistance before I would be confident on any dollar strength moves. That's why you see it retracing a little bit right now. Does need to break that level. Okay, then it's retracing quite a bit. I don't see any upside. I don't see an upside move on the Aussie dollar. So this would be only to the downside. Only looking for this to the downside. If it does bounce back up, then we might have a bit of an earlier entry, right? We could be looking at 6460, about 10 pip earlier entry, but it all depends on what happens at this candle. Then onto the yen, we were looking, and that's very interesting there. We were looking for this to push up, and you notice that at 9 o'clock when the dollar dropped, right, when the dollar dropped, it dragged the yen down, but when the dollar recovered, pretty much recovered back up, we didn't see a similar push on the yen to the upside. Right, we didn't see a similar recovery on the yen. So that to me just signals that there is more downward pressure on the US yen. You know, quick to drop but very slow to recover. We've seen situations like these, you see, quick to drop, very slow to recover on the yen. Very different to what we saw previously in early November, where it was just quick to climb but very slow to drop. Okay, so because of that, the short term, well, the 61.8 is there. 61.8 is right there on the move, which is still valid, and it's quite close. Right? If you were looking to sell down, I wouldn't be. This is, it's not easy. 30 pips is not going to be something that you want to try and manage or play around with. And what I'm looking at now is a bit of that. So it's very conflicting. I'm seeing very conflicting price action or very conflicting movements on the yen. We are seeing a development of a push to the upside, but it is struggling as well. Okay, and you see that on this move it held at 38.2 as well. So what I'm looking out for here, understanding that it topped out the most recently at 151.40, and anticipating that we might see that dollar strength come back into play, I would be looking out for a move like that, either off this trend line or off this this area here on the US yen. Right, so come down, it might come back down a little bit to the trend line or down to that 150.40.35 level before bouncing back up. We saw the tail over the last couple of times. We might see something similar. A bit speculative. Is not the best thing to do right now, especially towards the end of the week. But I would say that you could be looking at 150. It does need to bounce first, right? If it just sits there, it's not going to do anything. So I'll be saying 150.70. Stop loss no more than 30 pips. Stop loss no more than 30 pips. Take profit 60-70 pips to the upside. A bounce, that's what I would be looking. I'm looking out for that, but I'm not certain, or I don't feel confident that that's likely to be pushing in that direction. Okay, I'm just putting that as something to watch out for in this case. Hey Mukisa, thank you for that. I appreciate your comments. Hey Mizio Delaros, good morning. So it did not get to 151.80. We're looking to buy at 150.70, 30 to 70. 150.70, stop loss 30, take profit 70. Okay. It does need to break past that point first. Zachary is still on a swing trade sell from that high support down to previous structure on the US yen. I think you're talking about that one. Yeah, you know, I want to see what happens here. I want to see what, I think that there could be downside, but I want to see what happens here. So we want to see that as well on the US yen is look for reaction at 150.30, bounce, then buy 150.70. There we go. Right, I'm looking for a reaction here. If it bounces, then I'll buy it back up. Unless you are like Zachary and you have a sell position, I would think already, and you're holding on to a sell position, I would think that it's a little bit risky right now to be looking for a sell. With 61.8 quite close, with the 150 level quite close, and the trend line, the rising trend line, long-term rising trend line still holding valid. Okay, so if it breaks below 61.8, you might have a 40 pip move. Yeah, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I'd rather be looking for that bounce. Okay. Move to break even. Very good. That's I think. Are you talking about if you were at that high, then you probably could secure some profits as well. Probably secure some profits rather than just break even. All right. And I like the way it's moving. I like the way the yen is moving. Okay. We'll come back to that, see how that develops. Mizio Daros, not Jim, but Jin. But can you give your thoughts on pound dollar? My system playing up this morning, so I'm a bit late to the meeting. Oh no, we just got to pound dollar now. Do you think it's a good short opportunity? Well, short answer, yes, because we just had the retail, well, just 30 minutes ago had the retail sales number for the UK was minus 0.9, got revised further down to minus 1.1, expected 0.5, came out at a minus 0.3. Immediate reaction on the pound dollar was to the downside, holding, that resistance level, holding, pushing it lower. Now at that 38.2 level, I'll maintain this view. I'll just drag it right across and maintain this view. 1.2370, stop loss 60, take profit, stop loss 30, take profit 60 to the downside. Might have further downside potential as well, but look for a reaction between 61.8 and that support. So I think that, yes, short answer, we are looking at maybe more downside on the pound dollar, especially anticipating dollar strength, seeing the retail sales number, seeing it rejected by that resistance level. It all somewhat aligns to that downside potential for the pound dollar. Okay? So I'll keep that view on the pound dollar to sell 1.2370, stop loss 30, take profit 60. Could be a lot, could be a bit more than that on a take profit, but you know, once it gets to that point on 60, then you could be doing what Zachary is doing, moving it to break even, taking the take profit lower again, and also closing half on, you know, once half of the trade once it's moved in towards that 61.8 level to let the other part ride out. Okay, so I hope I answered your question there, Ms. Jo Delaros, and also for Jamil, who did very well on a pound dollar, selling it down for 62 pips. So doing very well. I think Jamil was in quite early, even on Wednesday, I think, all the way down, or Thursday all the way down. So doing very well. Then on to the euro, right? Euro was where I was like, oh, is it gonna happen? Is it gonna happen? Did not happen. Where it broke out, we saw that flag, right? Spiros highlighted that flag to the up. What is the routing going here? I don't know what's the routing. What's routing? Hiker's Diary just said, I joined this community yesterday. Could you please tell me what is the routing going on here? No idea what's routing. Do enlighten me. Okay. Take that. So that did not trigger. Came very close. Did not trigger. Take that away. Now that flag did not work out as well. But what you're seeing here is that. Oh, okay. Thanks for that, Chinon. Routine. Okay, wait. Let me just finish this euro dollar first. Not a flag to the downside, but it's some other pattern here where we're seeing that, oops, right? We're seeing that happen, pushed up, consolidating, looking like it's going to push back down if we do see that dollar strength. So needs to break below that equal low that we've seen since Wednesday and Thursday. Now Friday looking like it's going to break down, dollar to strengthen back up. I would say that dollar 1.0820. I'll be happy with that. Stop loss 20 pips, take profit 50 pips to the downside. Yeah, straightforward. I find this very straightforward. It just needs to break past this point. In fact, no, I will have it a little bit lower. I want it a little bit lower just because I think that it might try and fake us out. It might do that and then come back down again. Right, so if you had it a bit too near, then it might trigger your trade. Go back up, hit your stop loss and come back down. So what I would say is have it a little bit further away on the entry. You could go down to that low point there. This whole thing is an area, but more relevance is what we saw here on the 6th of November. All right, so could be still looking at the 25 to 50 pip. 1.08, where was it? 1.0815, was it 15? Yes, 15, 25 to 50. 1.0815, stop loss 25, take profit 50. Yeah, euro is in that range. It is well within this relatively wide range at a resistance. So that's why I want to say break out of that range below that 38.2 level. 23 is done. Break out that 38.2. Then we'll see it push. Could see it push to the downside. Okay. Yep, I'm happy with that. And on to Hiker's Diaries question, what is the routine going on here? What we do here every day, well, once I come into the office, generally quite early in the morning. Jump onto the charts, check it out. If there's anything interesting, I'll highlight to you guys in the Discord channel. If nothing much, then you can share your trades as well, share your ideas, share your setups. Number of you have done very well with that. Then at 3 o'clock GMT plus 8, we do the live stream through to 4. If I'm not jumping off to something else, then I'll be watching the charts. If there's anything interesting through the evenings and the nights, then I'll share that in the group. If it's not time sensitive, because sometimes during the nights I do just do my own trading, I get into scalping mode, I get into very short-term trades, so I can't capture and send to you guys because by then the move is over already. So it's all there, it's all the Discord channel. If you have any questions, just ping a message in the group, and then I'll be there, and everyone else is there to help you as well. Okay. Owen, how long have you been trading for? Any previous jobs? Yeah, I've been trading since 2008. I've been trading FX since 2000 and, was it 8? Yeah, 8, 9, about thereabouts, 8, 9, I forgot now. 2000 and, yeah, about 8 to 10. Around there I started trading in FX part-time, pretty much very similar to most of you, I would say. Trading part-time, then over a couple of years realized that, hey, I can do this part-time, can I do it full-time? Jumped straight into it, did it full-time, and then that's where it all changed. I did full-time, I started teaching people, I started doing streams, I started writing, and fast forward, it's now 2023. Any previous jobs? Yeah, I've been a consultant in finance. I got many different businesses. I do many different things. I wear many hats. Even right now, I'm doing a handful of different things on a day-to-day basis. So that's why sometimes we have a stream. Sometimes I'm caught up with something else, no stream, or I'm traveling around for different engagements. I do a lot of speaking internationally for brokerages or at events. Things to keep myself busy with. If not, I get into all kinds of trouble. All right. Good questions. A lot of times I get that question quite often. So hope that answers your question there, Hiker's Diary and Owen. Yeah, so euro dollar is still sitting there. US Swiss franc hasn't done anything. It's just sitting right across. Still looking like a push up on that upward level. I'll maintain this view. It does need to break above 23.6 to climb. Dollar needs to strengthen. It's sitting there. The more it sits there, the more I am gonna worry that it's not going to break above. So I think I want to see it that break. So I'll keep this view on the Swiss. 0.89, 20 to 50, 0.8905, 20 to 50. I'll maintain that view. Looks like an inverted head and shoulder on the daily. Let me see, oops. I don't see it on the daily. Let me check the weekly. I see what you're trying to say in terms of the shoulder, head, and I got too many things there, but a shoulder there. But for this inverted head and shoulder to play out, what needs to happen is price needs to break past 9.2 because the neckline is skewed, slightly skewed, so it needs to break past about 0.92, which is very far away right now. So yeah, weekly view, maybe we do have that inverted head and shoulder, but I don't have the patience. I don't have the patience for a weekly chart pattern, especially when I see, you know, big strong moves to the downside. In fact, now looking at this, okay, now looking at this, you would even say that that's the shoulder, that's the head, and that was a shoulder, which it's now probably slightly invalidated with this week's candle push to the downside. Okay, so back to the H1 time frame, I would say that, yeah, it's probably going to sit there. Does need to break up to push up, but I think that we have a lot of better opportunities. So this is a US Swiss franc. I think that, you know, I would prefer the Kiwi, the Aussie. It's all retracing a bit right now. The yen, the pound. Pound's very close. I like the pound a lot for Jamil, and also, well, for everyone, but in particular Jamil and Monsieur Delaros was asking about the pound. That's coming very close with about less than 15 minutes for the candle to close. On the H1 time frame, still relatively okay on the Bollinger. Euro dollar in that consolidation, looking for that push down. So you see, I see a lot more opportunities, easier opportunities across the other pairs rather than the US Swiss franc trying to bet on a counter trend push. Not high on my list at this point. Okay, US CAD, the loonie did very well. Inverted head and shoulder in this case to push to the upside. I did not catch that whole move. I actually got in late on that. I got in at this point. I got in at 3730. Yeah, that's right. I got in that point because I missed that push, and then I had a 20 pip stop. I had this level here at 40, so I closed it on that move to the upside, right? So did not catch the whole big move as it pushed up, but we had our inverted head and shoulder. I think again Spiros highlighted that. So Spiros is one of all the chart patterns. Quick on that. Inverted head and shoulder, done. Broke the neckline, done. Went up to that 61.8 level that we highlighted as a take profit, and that's done. Right, 61.8 being right there. So take away that 50% level, that's done already. Now dollar strength looking like, well, anticipating that dollar strength to come back in to push up. This could drag up. This could be dragged up higher. Okay. Let me just think. Looking at this, I want to see this break. All the setups that we are talking about today, and even yesterday, all the setups that we have been talking about has been very based on, doesn't make sense. My English is, that line, the sentence was terrible, but it's highly based on, highly dependent on the dollar index breaking above 38.2. Okay, because what I was just about to say is, hey, US CAD could hit higher. We would say that 1.3780 stop loss, 30 take profit, 60 to the upside. You can even do this tighter at 20 pips. That's still reasonable, right? But for this to continue pushing up, we need to see that dollar strength come back into play. Okay, yeah, I'll highlight that, then I'll show you something else as well. 1.3780. So anyone else? I know someone did the CAD. Someone was sharing the CAD on the Discord channel. But anyone else jumped onto the CAD or the loonies, inverted head and shoulder? Do let me know. 20, 1.3780, 20 to 60, okay, 20 to 60. Very nice, Spiros. You had to, because you were the one who spotted that inverted head and shoulder, so good job there. Erwin says, so many years of experience, glad you're here to share it with us. Yeah, hey, it's, you know, actually doing a stream like that helps with a lot with my own trading as well, because I do this even without a stream. Every day I'll come in, I do my own planning, I do my thought process on my trades, what I'm looking out for, where I'm not paying attention to, where I think prices could be heading towards. The only difference that I'm doing now is that I'm turning it on a camera, I'm putting on a mic, and I'm sharing with you all. It doesn't hurt to share, right? So I'm glad you guys are getting good benefit from it, right? Oh yeah, so I'm sharing this US CAD with you all, and then you look at oil price, which saw a massive tank. Someone else was trading on no Royal Governor. We haven't done gold yet. So WTI has been crashing to the downside, Brent crashing to the downside as well. I did not see a big reason for that apart from the gas storage, right? Last night where we see massive inventory, which increased supply could lead to that 3rd of November. Yeah, so 6 to 60, right? So increased supply with the inventory led to that, could have led to that big downward push on oil, on the Brent and WTI, and that was possibly one of the other reasons why we saw the loonie spike to the upside as well. Okay. Is it possible to have two biases daily per pair when the manipulation in the market on some days is getting ridiculous? Yes. Okay. So I think what you're saying is that is it possible to have two bias directions? No. Okay. Yes and no. One is that you would have your general view, your overall bias of where you think prices should be heading towards. But if it goes against you, you see, like for example, let's say for example the pound dollar. Right, because of the news that we saw at 3 p.m., because of the way prices are reacting to that resistance, my bias is for it to push to the downside. But let's say, for example, the pound dollar from here reverses back up, right? It reverses back up past that previous high here. Then at that point is where I would start thinking, right? I'm having fun scribbling. I would start thinking that, wait, maybe it's already dropped, it's already factored in that move, it's bounced back up, we're seeing maybe dollar weakness come back into play, and it's pushing back. If it pushes back past this point, then I'll flip my bias on the pound dollar to trade to the upside. I wouldn't sit there and have two bias going, oh, pound could go up and could go down. But I would have my main view, which is should be heading down. If it doesn't and it flips back up, then I'll make sure I have a reason, I'll make sure that I know why it's flipping back up. Then I would look to say, okay, would it be reasonable to flip that bias and anticipate that it could head up? And there's a very good question there from Mr. Delaros is, I've been promising you guys a trading course for a long time now. I'm still working on it, because what I've found is that, and I digress, right? I'm digressing massively right now, but what I found is that a lot of courses, a lot of information out there in the web tells traders on how to trade one method or one strategy or one direction. right? You're just going, oh, based on this, we're looking to sell. Based on this, we're looking to sell. Based on this, we're looking to sell. But at which point do you start thinking to flip your strategy or flip your approach? Which is what exactly Monsieur De La Rose was just asking, right? When do we flip? So there are levels, there are things to consider, there are reasons to apply before you start looking at flipping your strategy or your bias. And that's what we'll get into on the course. But you have to bear with me, it's a work in progress at this point in time. All right, so digression over, back to it. We've done all that. Now let's look at gold, like Royal Governor has been waiting for. Gold, I was scalping this to the upside, right? You all know I only scalp on gold. I'm super short, not super short term, but relatively short term on gold. And you see that with all that ranging craziness on the dollar index, all we've seen on gold is a steady push to the upside, right? A steady push to the upside. Now this hour still pushing up despite the dollar index pushing up slightly as well. So it's lost, I think I said this earlier in the week or last week, it's lost that for the interim, it's lost that correlation between gold and the dollar index. It's not inversely correlated for now. It looks like gold has found a good strong bottom and is steadily pushing to the upside. So yesterday we were saying that gold needs to break 1971, above 1978 could see 1988. Sat there being very patient, broke 1971, broke 1978 to see it get to 1988. Okay, so that worked out perfectly on gold, scalping it to the upside. With 61.8 done, I'll take that away. That resistance is now a support level. And this previous swing, well, not previous swing high, but this relevant level is now a resistance level. So what needs to happen here on gold is that it needs to break past 1988, and I would even say 1989, because it's very close. So it needs to break past 1989 to get to 2000. I know we do have a resistance here at 2007, but I think 2000, because of this point here, might make it tricky. And it's a nice round number that you might see a lot of orders being placed at that point. Okay, so above 1989, 1990. Let's give it a bit more space. Above 1990, we get 2000. It's a very simple one on gold right now. So it needs to be above 1990, could climb to 2000. Watch out, round number resistance level. Right, so it could come up to that point, come close to that point, you might see that big retrace or correction back down again. All right, with that, you're most welcome there, Gorju. Thanks for that, Spiros. Hey, and if you haven't already, do join the Discord channel. I see a lot of new nicknames there, so I look forward to see you guys joining us on the Discord channel. I will I'll publish this as a summary sheet on my trading view, so do make sure you check that out as well if you need a reference point. And if not, hey, have a great weekend. Don't go crazy because it's Friday. If you don't find a trade, don't rush into it. And if you have any questions, do reach out on Discord. Have a great weekend, trade well, trade safe. I will see you all on Monday next week. Take care now. Bye-bye.